Good evening, folks. Excuse me. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Make sure you hit the old subscribe button, and if you like the video, give it a like. Don't hesitate to leave a comment down below with any suggestions or ideas you may have, or of a story you may want to hear. Now, tonight, kind of in a off mood, so I apologize in advance if the story is not that good. But, as I always say, the show must go on. Maybe it'll help me take my mind off of what is bothering me. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. It all depends, you know what I'm saying? Some crazy shit that happened earlier. I was cooking, making some chicken, some rice, delicious gravy to go on top of it. Smelled great. Some onions diced up with some tomatoes, some Savoy cabbage, which is the first time I ever had it. It's pretty good. You should try it sometime when you get a chance. Anyway, let's get into tonight's tale of maybe terror, maybe not. It all depends on how you see the subject matter, which I haven't quite decided what it's going to be yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. As you can see, I'm kind of stalling here. But enough of the stalling, right? I was out and about one day. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was a while ago, I was walking, as I normally still do. I still walk around a lot. Anyway, I was walking, and I happened upon this guy. Looked like a homeless dude. He was kind of dirty and shit, dusty clothes, holes in him. Not like he was working, but like he'd been out there in the streets for a while. Looked up at me and he said, "Hey, buddy, can I have $1?" I was like, "I don't have any change, sir. I've only got a $20 bill, and I'm not gonna give you that, so I'm sorry. I don't have $1 for you." He said, "No problem. Don't worry about it. I was just gonna get something to drink with it anyway." I was like, "Well, good thing I didn't give it to you. You don't need to drink. Drinking is bad for you, sir. It's probably why you're in the predicament you're in now." I walked away. Wasn't really thinking too much of this encounter, because it's like any encounter that I used to have back in those days. It was a constant running into bums and such, begging for change, or more than change. Anyway, I had gotten to my destination, which was a friend's house, and I was sitting on his front porch, just chillaxing, nothing major. We was talking about this and that. And here comes the bum again, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, did you happen to get any change? I see you sipping on a soda there. You must have broken that $20 bill and have $1 of some sort. Maybe some quarters or something." I looked over at this guy. I was like, He's pretty persistent. "No, I don't have anything for you. What's in my pocket is mine. Why don't you go on about your business, pick up a few cans and such, and you'll get $1 that way." He didn't seem to like what it was I said to him, because he gave me this look like he was pissed, shuffled off. Once again, not thinking anything of it. I mean, how many times have I told a homeless person or a beggar no, and they've shuffled off? It's like an everyday occurrence where I was from. So, didn't stick in my head as some significant moment in my life. I wrote it off, as we do most things like this. I probably shouldn't have did that though, Later on that night, after having a good time with my friend, chillaxing, watching TV, and some fucking comedy shit, doing a little freestyle and making some beats, I decided to walk home. It's about maybe 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, It was a warm night, so it wasn't like it was cold or anything like that. So I'm just walking, minding my own business, as usual. Now, out of the corner of my eye, ahead of me to the left, I notice the bum again. This time he's hunched over a dumpster and he's inside of it. It's like he's struggling with something, you know. I'm thinking he's either probably trying to get in it or pull something out of it. So once again, I don't pay it too much mind. I just continue on doing what I'm doing. It's at that moment I notice a leg like kicking out from the dumpster. So I'm, hey, what are you doing? And he turns around and he looks at me. But when he looks at me, it's not the face of a person. It's a monster's face. I can only describe it as terrifying, ugly, sharp-ass teeth. No nose, no eyes, just teeth. It's like this big, huge, giant face of teeth. It was crazy. I was shocked, scared, panicked real quick, started running back the way I came to my friend's house, banging on his fucking door. Hey, let me in. Let me in, please. Let me in. Comes to the door. He's like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, you're not gonna believe what the fuck I just seen, right? Remember the bum that came over to us earlier today? Asking me for $1 and shit, asking if I had some change. He's like, yeah, I guess. What? It's like he is, I don't know what he's doing, but there's somebody he's pushing into a dumpster and his face is like all teeth and shit. He's not even human. He's a fucking monster of some sort. It's like, look, I don't know what you might have smoked after you left here or took, but that sounds absolutely ridiculous. And please don't knock on my door like that. What, did you forget something? And this is your way of trying to get in the house to get it or some shit like that? Like, come on, man. Don't fuck around. It's not funny. It's like 11:30 at fucking night. I gotta work tomorrow. And you're disturbing me. I'm like, dude, listen. I am not fucking joking with you. I am dead serious. I am absolutely serious. Do I look like I'm playing around? I'm fucking panicking here. I'm scared. I don't want to walk that way. Call me an Uber. I'll pay for it. Or maybe I'll call him. It was at that moment that I saw the look on my friend's face change. He was looking behind me and he was looking petrified and shocked. He was in fear. Immediately, like this chill ran down my spine because I knew there was something behind me. I knew it. I didn't want to look back though, but I had to. Turned around ever so slowly. And what I saw was what was left of whatever it was that the bum monster thing was shoving into the dumpster. It was like a partial torso with a leg attached to it, shredded to pieces. It was just sitting behind me, in the hands, or claws I should say, of this fucking monster, which was gnawing on it as it stood there. I turned back to my friend and I noticed that he's closed the fucking door and ran in the fucking house and shit and left me out there like a jackass. I'm like banging on his door again. Please, let me in. Please. He's like, get the fuck out of here, buddy. Get the fuck out of here. So I ran into his backyard, right? Hopped the fence and I'm just running. Not looking back. I don't want to look back. I don't want to see what I just saw. I can only imagine the terror and fucking horror that person went through to be shredded and eaten alive by a fucking monster. Anyway, right? So I get to the main road. It's a big street called the Boulevard. It's very busy. There's constant traffic. I'm figuring to myself, I'll run into traffic. I know what you're thinking, right? That's not a very smart thing to do. But neither is getting eaten by a fucking monster. I don't want to get eaten by a monster. So I ran into traffic. Got hit by a car. Kind of slowed down a little bit, so I didn't get hit badly. But bad enough that it tossed me ahead like 10 feet or so. Slid down the road and shit. Got up. The guy starts screaming at me. Hey, what the fuck is your problem, man? Jeez, you almost got killed. Fucking causing an accident here. Watch where you're fucking going. As soon as he gets that out of his mouth, that fucking monster thing, like, jumps clear from the sidewalk onto this dude's car, rips him out of it, starts fucking eating his fucking head off. I start screaming. Now, people are just driving by as if they don't notice a monster eating someone's fucking head. And maybe they didn't, because, people were driving by kind of fast. Somebody pulled up behind the car that the guy was in, that stopped, and started honking their horn at the stopped car, not realizing, once again, that he's being eaten by a fucking monster. Now, the monster diverts his attention from the corpse he's eating to the person who's beeping the horn. He jumps on their windshield and just mashes it with his fucking big, massive claws. Reaches in, grabs this guy, starts eating his fucking head off. Now, I'm just looking at this like, I can't outrun this thing. It jumped clear across the fucking sidewalk, landed on this guy's car, ripped him out of it, and ate his head. I'm not going to be able to outrun this. So I jumped in the guy's car the first guy who got his head eaten off, I jumped in his car, pressed the damn gas to the floor, started flying down the boulevard, right on the red light, almost caused a fucking accident and shit. I'm flying. I don't know where I'm going. I just want to get as far away from that thing as fucking possible. So as I'm speeding down the street, right, I see the telltale signs of police behind me. You know what I'm saying? Because the lights were flashing red and blue. Boom. He's trying to pull me over. I'm flying. I'm not trying to stop. Until I'm like at least a few miles away from this fucking thing. Potentially, right? So finally, I'm like the next town over. You just keep going straight down this road, you end up in the next town. And I start to pull over where there's lots of other people around. You know what I'm saying? There's like a gas station on the corner and shit. So I pull over into the gas station. There's people getting gas, going in and out the store, buying shit, whatever. Cop pulls up, hops out the car with his gun drawn. Hey, you, turn the fucking car off. Turn off the car. I'm like, I'm not doing that, officer. I'll put my fucking hands up, but I'm not turning off this car. You don't know what I just saw. See, I said turn off the fucking vehicle. Turn it off, or I'm gonna shoot you. I'm like, all right. I turn off the car. And he says, get out the car, slowly. Reach your hands out the window, open the door, and, regular cop procedure shit that you're supposed to follow when, they got you on the gunpoint. Now, you would think I was scared of this cop. No, I'm not scared of the cop. The worst he's gonna do is shoot me. A lot less terrifying than getting my head eaten off alive by some crazy bum monster. I'm not trying to feel that shit. At all. So you know what I'm saying? I step out of the vehicle, like I'm told, right? He says, keep your face forward. Don't turn around. Don't look at me. I was like, officer, listen, I gotta tell you this. And you should listen to me. There's this fucking bum monster thing jumping around, fucking eating people. This car is not my car. I'm not gonna lie to you. Technically, I didn't steal it because the person who owns it is dead. I saw the monster eat his fucking head off. And then he ate some other person's head off that was behind us. If you go back to the boulevard, you're gonna see bodies on the ground and fucking a car stopped in the middle of the road. And that's what you're gonna find, officer. I kid you not. That's what's gonna happen. So, he gets on the radio, tells other units to go check my shit. Meanwhile, he still has me at gunpoint. He doesn't believe a fucking word I said. Me admitting that I just stole this car wasn't, the smartest thing for me to do. But what else was I gonna do? I was just running from the cops, so it's not like I'm not already a suspect for something, right? You get what I'm saying? So I was damned if I did and damned if I didn't. Now, as the police officer is, verifying my ID and all this other shit, he finally tells me to put my hands behind my back, cuffs me, sits me in his car. Now he's walking around the other car and he notices the blood on the door where the thing ripped him out of the car, right? He gets back on his radio and he's saying something while he's looking at me, and then he makes this shocked look, like, then he comes back with it, oh, you're in fucking trouble now, buddy. You're in fucking trouble now. The fuck kind of animal are you? Murdered a person and stole his car. Yeah, we found the bodies. There's no fucking bum monster anywhere to be seen. What the hell did you do? I ran, man. Like, flock of seagulls. I ran so far away. And then I hopped in this car and sped away. And then you stopped me in this gas station. Stop your fucking singing. Look, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to, break the mood and tension down just a little bit. Because I'm scared as fuck. You're mad as fuck. That's not a good combination. That's not a good combination at all. But I'm telling you, officer, I swear on my children that there is a fucking bum monster. He looks like a bum most of the time, but then he turns into this crazy, all these teeth in his face monster thing. I don't even see any eyeballs. I just see teeth and shit. It's weird, and he's got claws and shit, and he can jump really far distances. I don't feel safe in this police car. I really don't. Could you please, I know this is a stupid question to ask, because I know you're going to say no because you think I murdered 2 people and stole a car. What would I have done it with? And why don't I have any blood on me? I mean, have you thought to ask yourself that question? I'm pretty sure the scene was really gruesome. It was gruesome when I left it. I'm pretty sure it was even more gruesome when you got to it, or when your partners got there. So please, use your powers of deduction and reasoning to look at me and see I have no blood on me, and therefore I could not have murdered said victims. He starts to think about this for a little bit, right? He starts to think about it for a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, thank God. He comes over to the back door and he opens it. But just as he opens it, the fucking bum monster jumps on him. Woof, pounces on him. He goes for his gun. I hear several gunshots go off. Pow, 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 pow. And then I hear some screams. Oh, and gurgling. And then crunch, blood, squelching noises. It was gross sounding. I didn't want to see what the fuck happened. So when I jumped out the car, handcuffed still, I ran. I just ran. I ran like, the song that goes from Flock of Seagulls, like I told you before. And just kept running. I just kept running as fast as I possibly could because I knew, for whatever strange reason, this thing was probably after me. Now, I'm thinking somewhere maybe in its mind, it was mad that I didn't give it $1 and shit. So, I'm thinking to myself, maybe now, I should give him that fucking $1 because I don't want him to fucking eat me. I hope we're not past the point of me giving him the $1 because, if I give him the $1, maybe he'll leave me alone. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop running, though. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if he catches me and I don't have any other fucking choice, then I'll offer him the $1 and say, please, monster, bum thing, don't eat me, please. Well, I would get my chance to put that into practice. I was still running down the street. More populated areas. It's not that empty in this place at night. There's a lot going on. A lot. You know what I'm saying? You got drug addicts and drug dealers. You got people just driving around, coming from work, going to work. Nightlife and shit. It's college town, so there's plenty of people running around. Anyway, so I'm in the square. Kimberly Square is what it's called. I'm there, and there's a few people around. Chinese restaurants open. Actually, it's a chicken spot now. It's not a Chinese restaurant. It used to be a Chinese restaurant, but it's not a Chinese restaurant anymore. It's a chicken spot. So it's a chicken spot. I ran into the chicken spot. God damn it. Yo, listen. Lock the doors. Lock the doors. Lock them all. In fact, turn off the lights. Act like you're closed and shit. And hide behind the counter. Can I come behind the counter and hide back there with you guys? Because there's this fucking bum monster thing, and he's eating people. He just ate a cop. The cop shot it. I don't even know how many fucking times. At least I think he shot it. I didn't look to see. All I know is the cop met A horrible grisly death. A horrible grisly death. I heard it. Didn't see it. Once again, I told you I didn't want to look, so I ran and I came here. And I need your help. The guy behind the counter wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying because he was on the phone. So when he got off the phone, he told me, "You have to buy something or leave." I said, "What?" "Buy something or leave." So I bought, a piece of candy, I think it was, like fruit by the foot and shit. I'm like, "Listen, did you hear anything I just told you? You need to lock this place up, turn off the lights. It's a monster, bum monster. He's coming. He's coming for me, maybe, but definitely he'll eat you. He doesn't give a fuck. He's indiscriminate when it comes to what he eats and who he eats. He just ate a cop. I told you that, but you weren't paying attention. But he ate a cop and it was bad, and the cop shot him, and he's not dead, I don't think, because he's never dead. I've never heard of a monster that just dies from being shot. Have you? Because I haven't. You know what I'm saying? So listen, dude, like I just told you, lock the doors." He's like, no, you leave. Business open. I didn't have much of a choice. He pulls out a gun, thinking maybe I might be trying to rob him and shit. Tells me to get the fuck out, or he shoot me in my butt. Like, oh, damn, it's awfully specific. All right, well, fuck it. I guess I have no other choice but to leave. So I walked out the door, scared, still, of course, just waiting for this bum monster to fucking catch me, right? I didn't want to go home because I didn't want to bring the bum monster to the house and put my family at risk. So I wandered about the streets for hours till daylight. Yeah, I survived until daylight. I didn't see him anymore. So I was starting to think that perhaps, the cop might have killed it. I mean, lost his life in the process, but might have killed it. Now, you're probably saying, well, what's going on with you and the police and shit? I'm pretty sure they must be looking for you since he did arrest you or have you in the back of his car at the time. No, he didn't get a chance to call my name in and shit, so they weren't looking for me in particular. My description, yes, but I had been changed my clothes, took some stuff off the clothesline that I seen hanging out there, in the morning, and was walking around. Anyway, right? So I get downtown because I figure downtown is as safe a place as any. There's a bus going in every direction. If I have to hop on the bus and get away, I'll hop on the bus and get away. But at least I'll be able to see him coming a mile away, So I'm sitting on the green and shit. I'm looking around. I'm looking all over the place. I'm looking up, down, left and right. Just everywhere, right? Looking paranoid as shit. People are walking past me looking at me and shit. I'm looking at them like hiding behind park benches and shit, trees and fountain and stuff, behind other people. They're looking around like, what the fuck have you been smoking, man? Are you on drugs? Jeez, the fucking rehab center is that way. Methadone clinic's over there. You don't look like you're on meth. Are you on meth? Sir, please get away from us. We don't have any money for you. And then as soon as I heard that, I thought about it. Like, damn, maybe I should have just given that motherfucking bum the goddamn $1. Like, shit, if I see him now, I'm giving him this fucking $1 because I don't want him to kill me. If I see him. And he's not like a monster and shit, just doesn't jump on me and eat my fucking head off. Well, to my surprise, or not really my surprise, but, let's just pretend I was surprised. I saw the bum downtown, where a lot of bums hang. A lot of them, hang downtown. So I wasn't surprised, actually, that I saw him down there. I was just surprised that he wasn't a monster still. His clothes were all messed up and shit and bloody from all the people he had been eating that night. I don't know how many people he ended up eating before he turned back into a regular person, but he starts shuffling up towards me. And of course, I'm petrified. I'm not gonna lie. Even though he's not a monster right now, I know what he is when he's not the bum. He's a monster. So I'm scared. I'm scared as fuck. I immediately reach in my pocket and pull out $1, right? He comes up to me, he's like, so, got $1? I was like, yes, actually I do have $1. I have quite a few dollars in my pocket if you'd like them. Would you like them? I don't mind giving you all of them. He's like, no. I just want $1. Have to go get this nip. I was like, you really shouldn't do that. It's not good for you. He's like, no, it's not good for you if I don't get this nip. You saw what happened yesterday, didn't you? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's what happens when I don't get my nip. I don't want to be a fucking monster. I don't want to jump around eating people's heads off and shit. But if I don't have my daily intake of alcohol, then that's what happens at night. Night comes and immediately I transform into this feral beast with a hunger for human brains and chest cavities. I have to eat. Only way I can suppress this is with alcohol. I said, haven't you ever thought of maybe just like offing yourself, perhaps? You know, I mean, it's gotta be a pretty miserable existence, just drinking all the time to suppress a monster which would eat the heads and chest cavities of fellow human beings. I mean, doesn't that bother you? That you know what you did last night? Like, do you have any idea? He's like, no, I'm not consciously aware of the things that happen while they're happening, but I do find out what happened after it happens when I wake up the next day, usually somewhere gnawing on what's left of a human brain or chest cavity. I was like, how have you not been like arrested or caught? Or at least like captured by the government and studied, poked and prodded, dissected even, but at least contained. It's like nobody really pays attention to you when you're a fucking bum. I was like, yeah, you're right. Nobody really does pay attention to you when you're a homeless bum. They just kind of ignore you and shit. So that's a pretty sad fucking existence, dude. Like, how did it happen? We sat down for a moment. My fear of him kind of waned and shit. You know, I kind of understood now, you know, the alcohol was medication because obviously he didn't trust himself to be around people most of the time. He became a bum to kind of become a recluse and only be around people long enough to beg for the change necessary to get the alcohol. Now you're probably saying, why doesn't he just get a job and work like normal people work? Well, the field of work that he was in, he would be tested for drugs and alcohol pretty regularly. So, you know, he wouldn't be able to sustain this type of employment for very long. And the unfortunate thing is when he needs the alcohol, he needs the alcohol. He has to drink most of the day this alcohol. So he can't be at work drinking and shit. Nobody's gonna allow that to happen. You'll be fired. So that's pretty much what happened to him. Is he had to leave the professional life that he led, move away from his family and shit, and become this bum that wandered the streets begging for change to get alcohol to suppress a monster that ate off the heads and chest cavities of people. Sad existence. I asked him, have you ever thought about like just ending it all, you know, killing yourself and shit? He's like, yes, I tried once or twice, maybe. I tried taking a whole bunch of pills and shit, that didn't work. I woke up the next day chewing on an arm. I was like, ooh, that's bad. It's like, yeah, it was terrible. Didn't taste too good. Didn't taste too good at all. And the next time I tried to shoot myself, but just couldn't. I couldn't muster the courage to do so. So here I am, stuck in this life of eating people if I don't drink myself into oblivion. I was like, well, you better be careful, man. You know, this is not the type of life that I would want for myself. And I'm sad that it's your life, but like, how did you become this monster to begin with? Like, what happened? He said, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. I said, probably. I mean, shit, the stuff that I've seen the past night, I'm sure I'd believe it. I'm quite sure I'd believe it. She said, well, one day I was leaving work. I walked across the grain. I was going to get a sandwich. I bought the sandwich and I had exactly $1 in change. Bum asked me if he could have my dollar. Told him to get a fucking job. He looked at me. And I noticed something about him that was off. It was very off. But I just figured he was probably on drugs or something, so I didn't think too much of it. I turned and walked away from him. Immediately, he jumped on my back. Bit me. Police saw this and shot the shit out of him. killed him on the spot. Don't know why they resorted to such violence, especially with me standing there, but they did. He died, and that was the end of it. But ever since that day when he bit me, I would feel this change happening. Kept waking up the next day, bloody as hell. I'd read in the newspaper and watch on the news about these gruesome murders that were happening very close to places that I had been before I forgot where I was at. It wasn't until one day I put two and two together and realized that fucking bum that bit me was some type of fucking monster, and now I'm cursed to walk this earth as a bum monster. I should have just gave him the fucking $1. I get it. That's fucked up, man. Now we're cool though, right? Like, I gave you $1 now, you get your nip and everything, everything's cool. You're not gonna like fucking eat me if you see me and shit. He's like, I have no control over who I eat when that happens. I have no control of that. Just so happened you happen to have been walking by when obviously I must have been eating somebody and I saw you as a monster and wanted to eat you. But I don't like hunt people down because they don't give me a fucking $1. I do get a little pissed off about it. I was thinking of biting your ass and turning you into one of these fucking things, but then I was like, I don't want to damn him to the same hell that I'm living, so I won't do that. I said, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I would say I wish you the best, but me wishing you the best means you live a long life and continue to eat the heads and chest cavities of innocent people. So I'll just bid you farewell and hope that I never see you again. He said, same to you, buddy, and thanks for the $1. You might have just saved quite a few people's lives. He shuffled away. I sat there dumbstruck. I mean, that's a crazy ass story right there. Some kind of bum bit him, and then like now he's a bum monster and shit. Makes you wonder how many of them are there roaming the streets in disguise as bums, but really monsters. And how many of those bums that you say no to might actually in fact be trying to keep this monster suppressed so that it doesn't rear its ugly teeth-filled head to eat the heads and chest cavities of innocent people. Makes you wonder. Where I live now, there's not a lot of homeless people, thank God, because I'd probably be like building big tall walls around my house to keep them away. But I don't have to do that because, like I said, there are none here that I've seen. Maybe they stay hidden. But folks, moral of the story is, if you see a bum, he asks you for exactly $1. If you have that $1, you might want to give it to him. And then never see him again. Like, maybe bash him over the head with a brick when he's not looking, kill his ass. Well, I don't want to say that. That's mean, because then they might not be like a bum monster that eats people's heads and shit. So then you would just be killing homeless people, and that's just really fucked up. So no, don't do that. Just give him the $1 and just hope that whatever that $1 is for is to keep the monster on the inside and not on the outside. Okay? That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. Once again, I just want to say thank you very much for joining me for another one of my stupid, scary stories. Have a wonderful night, folks.